Hello, this is Eric from Lilley's Landing. About to do one cast today. It's Thursday, August 28th, 2025. Currently, I'm just down from our marina, just before Cooper Creek. If you're over on that right-hand side ridge, generally you'll end up over by the pump station. Just getting myself situated here because I was trying to get through here and just going to kind of fish over by these waterfalls here today. The jig that I'm going to be using is just going to be this orange head, sculpin feathers, and I would say that's probably right around your 1/16 size. Nothing big as the water's off today. We've had a recent amount of fish come out. They released about 90,000 fish all throughout Taneycomo, so if you are really looking to fish, this is a good time to go. It's nice and overcast today. It has been the last couple days. It's been pretty overcast, so the fishing has been fantastic. I just for the fun of it, wanted to throw in a jig this morning. I actually threw in the same color jig from the dock, and I was getting bites like very quickly, very quickly. But so mainly the thing is, I'm just going to be looking to see if we see any topwater action going on today. On the way down this way, I'd seen lots of fish eating topwater. Not like we need topwater fish, we're just gonna fish and have a good time. But we're just gonna go ahead and see what happens on our first cast. I'm not seeing any fish biting up top, so might actually want to get this a little deep and see what happens. I just want to kind of get us close to this waterfall and give us a little bit of a scenic view this morning. Actually, it's afternoon at this point. We've been so busy at the dock recently we've been doing a lot of pressure washing, so it's just that time of year. But we're just gonna throw by this bank, a little out in the open, and see what happens. I was normally going to fish up by Short Creek and between Short Creek and Trout Hollow. It's a really good bank across from those, but I figured for now we'll just try somewhere a little different. Some people like to fish this bank on this side. Sometimes where the active running water is, you can get some good fishing, but like I said, I hadn't seen any top water really run through here. Just a few fish eating top water throughout the time, but yeah, it's nice and calm waters today. I don't believe they're going to generate any water except for, I only saw one unit of water running around 5 o'clock this evening, and that's about it. I think I'm going to get us a little closer to this side. Usually this right bank over here does a pretty good job. I've never actually gone this far down, but you can catch fish all along across from our dock all the way down towards Cooper Creek. And so there's a lot of really good fishing spots all along Taneycomo. So this is just one area I'm not super familiar with, but that's okay. Fishing is fishing. Sometimes you gotta experiment and you gotta have fun going places and trying out different locations. You never know, sometimes that's how you stumble upon a good fishing hole, is trying different areas. Generally, fish do like some running water. Sometimes that running water can bring different types of bugs and other debris into an area where fish will actively eat. So I figured maybe by these waterfalls, especially after some of the rain we had recently, we might have some things wash up by here and see if maybe we got some fish maybe hanging out over by this area. Weather is actually quite nice today. We were looking about mid-60s, mostly overcast today. I've been watching lots of people fishing off our dock, catching fish just left and right. I mean, if you were coming down, staying with us anytime recently, and even this week, there's just lots of good fishing right off the dock. So definitely worth coming out and fishing off our dock. Our dock is public free access, so just come in and sign a waiver and have fun fishing off our dock. That's always a good time. You always have Cooper Creek just right down from us. They've always got public access dock as well. Nice boat ramp. A lot of people like to fish across from there as well in their boats, and people off of the pier over there where they load the boats. So all good areas. Okay, I do just past this waterfall, I did see some topwater fish. I do see some coverage right over here, so we might have some deep water as well as some top water. So I'm thinking we're in a pretty decent spot. Let's see if we can just get anything to go after this jig here. I've also got an all black jig in case I lost this one or wanted to try something a little different. Like I said, I know this morning this orange head with the sculpin feathers did really good. Look at that, I'm snagged on something. No fish, just snagged. Go ahead and get a little closer. It's part of that debris that I was mentioning earlier. Easy to get hung up on something like that. Look at that. Caught a wonderful stick off that debris that was there. So just a rule of thumb, if you ever do come over in this area, there's some extra coverage, some extra grass. Just know that if you do come out in this area, that you do know that it could get snagged. I mean, there's a lot of areas on the lake that you can get snagged, but just be aware of where you're at in some places and just take your time. There's a lot of trunks and stuff over here. I'm going to go ahead and move this camera. Just going to see if maybe in between here. I see a lot of coverage. See if there's maybe any fish in here without getting tangled up on this stuff. That's the problem with coverage, is you can find some good fish in it, but you also have a high probability of snagging on there too. I'm just not seeing any fish in this area. It's always one thing you should always pay attention to is if you're getting topwater bites, where they're at, or if you watch anybody catching fish from certain areas, it helps kind of give you an idea of where you should go. After this summer, we definitely have a lot of tall grass around, so definitely brings some good coverage for the fish. Seeing lots of tall grass in this area, but I'm also not seeing any fish actively in this area. I didn't grab my sunglasses to kind of see through some of this water, but it is pretty clear with it being off right now. I mean, I can see pretty deep. I'm just not seeing too much by this ridge, so I might try going out a little bit further from this ridge and see if we can get something maybe out toward the water here. I think I'm going to move us away a little bit further away from those waterfall here. So now I'm getting a little bit closer to our other dock. And we store boats, and Unit 24 where people like to stay. We got a couple people fishing off our dock over here, and I think they've been doing pretty decent, so we'll just try the bank across from them and see if we got any fish that have migrated over here. Just looking out and about, because like I said, as you look out and about, you'll be able to tell if you see any fish just eating top water still. There's been a lot because of this overcast, and the weather's been super nice today. It's been really, really, really nice. I'm just gonna slow down my drift here just slightly. I'm just gonna try the bank right over here, see if maybe have any luck. Some fish over here. Oh, look at that. I might need to go behind us. I feel like the fish are kind of staying out in the middle rather than just by the banks. I've noticed a lot of the top water kind of out near the middle of the lake. So if you are looking to fish, don't necessarily have to be in a boat. Like I said, a lot of the docks have been doing really good fishing throughout the morning, throughout the day, in the evening. So it's just been a good solid bite for all day long. So it's good. Of course, I got a piece of that grass there. So I'm gonna try off to this side, guys, and see what happens. I'm noticing we're getting some top water bites out here in the open. So we're just gonna see what happens. Like I said, might even want to try the black. Like I said, not a very So as they've released so many fish that I mentioned earlier, sometimes you get some small fish, and sometimes those small fish, I'll tell you, their bites can be very light. So it's very important when you're trying to catch some of them small fish to have a light rod, light action rod with some really, this is 2-pound test line. So if you're gonna catch something small, 2-pound is always gonna be good. But like I said, you could even go with 4-pound is gonna be fine as well. But when the water's off like this, 2-pound line is gonna be pretty good. Anything that's gonna give you that sensitivity so you can feel when those fish bite. Because with those fish, you wanna make sure your line's pretty taut so you can feel that bite, and they're quick. I will say the thing about the stockfish, and you know, just because we call them stockfish doesn't necessarily mean they have to be small. They can be pretty big too. There's some pretty decent sized ones that they'll release as well. But with the small fish, they're just so fast. Oh, look at that. I'm just gonna try to pull this guy. He's a little guy, but what'd I say? Talking about how quick they are. And that he was quick. He was super quick. I'll try to. Come on, buddy. All right. Just so you guys can see him, he's just a little guy. And he's gonna go back on in. Yeah, he was quick and darty, real fast. And they are the, like as I was mentioning, those stockfish, they're light, they're quick, and you have to be able to react quickly enough or you will just miss them. And you got to set the hook pretty quick because it can be tough sometimes. But yeah, I'm pretty happy. We at least got one fish on the docket. So yeah, he was a real little guy, but like I said, we got a lot of the stocking fish. But I'll tell you this too, the benefit of also stocking really a bunch of small fish too, if there's a bunch of them, will be, you know, potential for bigger fish to appear as well, trying to eat some of those smaller fish. As small as he was, I mean, you could get a big brown ready to eat that little guy, so be chasing him, and you just never know. You could clip into a trophy-sized fish that quickly. You know, thinking maybe you're just gonna catch some small fish today, and hey, there you go. Big brown emerges trying to hunt some of these little fish, and now you got one on your line. So yeah, I'd say the bank, haven't gotten anything from the bank, but just throwing out toward the middle really is where I'm noticing, like I said, still top water bites going on over there. Like I said, it's always hard to tell if your big ones are going to stay deep or if they might also, trying to chase some of the small ones, might also come up toward the top as well. I mean, most time your big ones probably will stay closer to the bottom, but if they're hungry, you know, they might. We've seen some small fish being chased before by some big fish, so usually you can tell when there's some really interesting stuff going on with the water and there's a bunch of ripples and you're like, oh man, what's going on? It looks like a fish is in pursuit of another fish. So that does happen from time to time. Well, see if I could throw in a few more casts here and I think we'll call it a day. But yeah, all in all, like I said, it's still fun to come out here and go fishing, even if it's just some small fish today. But like I said, come down and fish from the dock, have a good time. Like I said, if you're in the area, you can come fish from our dock. You probably do pretty good down by the landing. I'm not fishing the landing today, but like I said, 90,000 fish. That's a lot of fish to release, and they're all over the lake. So I know the other night I was fishing up by Short Creek and Trout Hollow. Oh, see, I think I had a bite maybe right there. But I didn't have my line taut enough, so yet again. I don't know if that was a fish. Oh. So I actually just had a decent sized fish follow this. He's probably about a foot in length. I just couldn't get it in set because I was trying to figure out what he was doing. I think he wanted this, but he just didn't commit. It was kind of like he was biting it and then he'd like spit it out. That's something that does happen sometimes too, just so you're aware. I'm gonna see if maybe I can entice him again. Like I said, sometimes it's hard to get a fish to really bite because sometimes they don't just want to bite. Sometimes they just want to, sometimes they don't really grab where the hook is either. Sometimes they just grab the feather part and you feel the tension, but then it's just, you know, if you don't set the hook right. I think I pulled it out of him a few times. So, but I think this will be our last cast, guys. Let's see if we can just let that run a little deeper. Like I said, that was a little bit bigger fish. He did follow it and decided to kind of follow it all the way to the boat. I could see him just right below. So there are some pretty decent sized fish, like I said, potentially hunting some of these smaller fish. He looked like a rainbow instead of a brown, but yeah, there are some fun little fish out there. I thought I felt some tension earlier, so that's what's interesting. That's why it's always good to have a sensitive rod, sensitive, you know, light action. You're definitely having a 2-pound line helps. I definitely feel like it just seems like there is something potentially chasing that. All right, guys, that was my last one, so I think I'm gonna call it a day. Like I said, feel free to come fish up from our dock if you're in town. And like I said, it should be a good fishing, but I hope you all have a good rest of your day, wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow.